Hello and welcome to the special edition of Young Turks. I'm Shireen Bhan. As you know, the show has turned 21, and as we usually do, we trek out to the Valley, to the US to understand what shifts are shaping the tech world. Joining me today is a man who's at the heart of the AI change that's taking place. He is a first-generation entrepreneur, an immigrant who came to the US 20 years ago and decided to start up. It is my pleasure to bring on two Young Turks, Anand Mahurkar, the founder and CEO of Findability Sciences. Anand, thanks so much for joining us. What an absolute pleasure to be here with you to talk about findability.
Thank you, Shireen, for having me. It's really an honor and pleasure to meet you and talk to you on this topic.
So, Anand, let's get started about your journey first before we talk about findability. You grew up and studied in Aurangabad,
yes.
And then you decided to move here to the US. As part of an employment contract, you were working with Datamatics, and that was 20 years ago.
Yes.
So how did you decide to start up?
So from the time of my engineering days, I used to always feel that I am a CEO and I am an entrepreneur, and I was looking for always an opportunity to do something. Most of my software career in employment was related to content management, related to unstructured content, structured content, and data. So in 2010, 2011, I got this idea that ability to find information is a key for every enterprise to succeed. And then what should be the technology called? Because search engine can be one thing. There are no big data word that time. So I coined this word findability. So that comes from ability to find information. And then I created a platform which connects internal, external, structured, unstructured data and gives unified information access. And eventually it became the bedrock for AI, because AI needs data, and I had created this platform. So what made me to come and jump into the entrepreneurship is really this love and passion towards data and how I can unify the data and give benefits to the enterprises.
Okay, so that explains the name Findability and the purpose of Findability as well. But Anand, you know, I'm reading what you say on your website. It says Findability Services is a leading enterprise AI company that helps businesses worldwide realize the potential of data and become data superpowers. Now, unpack that for us.
Yes.
What does that mean exactly? What do you do for your clients?
So as I told you, that data is key for every enterprise. And as you know that from last maybe 10, 15 years, there is an explosion of data on every aspect of enterprise aspect. So all the organizations are sitting on data, and they can become quote unquote superpower only if they utilize that data effectively. So what we want to do is, and what we do for our customer is give them that power of utilizing the data which they have not utilized to find the insight, understand what will happen, what to do, and that makes them powerful. And
so typically what kinds of problems are you solving for your clients on the back of what you do for them?
So there are 3-4 silos of problem, but the majority we solve is what will happen and what to do for your businesses. So for example, a CEO wants to know that how much revenue I did so far, okay? So we use the business intelligence systems, etc. But now the CEOs are not interested in sales happened so far. They are interested in how much sale will happen next quarter, next year, 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line. And data has those answers from the history. So we give them that what will happen to your business, how much sales you will do, how many employees you will have. So every aspect of business, what will happen, and not only that, but what to do. So if I'm doing sales X, then what should I do in order to achieve that or surpass that? And we take care of data and AI combined to give these answers. So in simple words, what will happen and what to do for every business aspect.
Okay, so simple question, right? Black Swan events, and we've seen plenty of them over the last few years, the COVID-19 pandemic, the Russia-Ukraine war. Now, how do you find insights in the data to tell a CEO what they should be planning for or what they should be doing?
So the data is very interesting. There is absolutely cyclical events happening. The nature may be different. As you rightly said, 2 years, 3 years ago, pandemic happened, then war happened. Now generative AI disruption is happening, slowdown is happening, recession is happening. But in history also similar events happened. May not be of that magnitude, but the businesses got interrupted. And the data has a power to tell us that story from the past. And AI can unreveal that story and give us answers for the future. We may not be able to predict exactly when pandemic is happening, but I can predict that cyclically how much sales I will be doing. Plus, in addition to this, the power of not only your internal data, but the external data. And external data has a very good power to give you foresight. So for example, just take a simple example of weather. Now there is a storm coming in India. Now, if I know this 10 days in ahead, my predictive analytics can take care of that weather inputs and give me precise output saying, do this. And therefore, even if these black swan events happen, they are continue to give us very good insight into the future.
Okay, so you're better prepared.
Yes.
So now let's talk about where things currently stand as far as your portfolio is concerned. You have, what, 40 plus global clients at this point in time. The US is your largest market. Japan, because of the SoftBank connection. Take me through that as well.
So we operate in 3 countries. United States happens to be the largest customer. What we did is that we have developed this horizontal platform. So we are not a vertical-centric company. We can go into retail, manufacturing, banking, financial services, etc. So we have many vertical customers. India happens to be our sort of a office which supports as a center of excellence on AI. So we develop a lot of products. We support our customers. We are primarily a product company. So we have built this intellectual property and technology in India, and we deliver it in US and Japan. We also serve in India as a customers. I personally see a big potential in Indian corporates, and we do have very large customers in India, and we will continue to grow on customer side also in India.
Okay, so let's talk about India and AI, because that's the question at this point in time. Sam Altman was there, and I think there's a lot of back and forth on the comment that he made. I don't think he was questioning the capability of Indian talent or Indian engineering. I think what he was saying is that, look, for the kind of work that people are talking about, which is these large models, it will require not just capability, but significant capital. Now, how do you read it, and how do you believe India is positioned and poised today when we talk about the AI age?
So I think, Shireen, you know better about Indian capability in terms of finance or capacity in terms of software development or resources. Actually, I read everything in the newspaper, so I may not be the privy to all the information. But what I read into his comment based on what I read in the newspaper is actually he mean that India should actually focus on problems which are not solved. Okay, and I also personally think so. Like creating LLM and feeding the data, yes, anybody can probably do it who has money, infrastructure, resources, and I don't think there is any question about in India if somebody can do it or not. But I feel also personally, and that's what even at Findability Sciences we are doing, is that how do we do and solve the next level problems. So to give an example, what we are doing at Findability Sciences is we built now a governance framework for the generative AI and discriminative AI.
Okay.
Now this governance framework is going to let enterprises adopt generative AI much rapid than just going and saying that, oh, there is a generative AI and I'm going to adopt it. So we all should focus on those aspects, and I believe that he meant that way, or at least I read it in that way.
Since you're talking about generative AI and, because of ChatGPT, the planet is talking about generative AI, its ability, its also the perils of it and what it could potentially mean in terms of displacement, disruption, and extinction. Now the fear is that are we 5 or 10 years away from extinction on account of AI?
Right.
What do you make of that?
So first of all, we need to understand that generative AI is not new. Okay, I think it's happening since 2017, 2018. The capacity or what it did was actually not known to the public at large. When OpenAI came up openly with this technology, now everybody knows about generative AI. But generative AI generates new content, okay? That is being built on historic data or the data which is available. The algorithms are trained and we get new content. Now, will this extinct planet or human beings, etc., is really a big question. What is this going to do, according to me, is that there will be job replacement or displacement in some areas, not all. To me, being a techie, I think software development is an area where there is a big issue, or there may be a potential displacement. The second is the marketing, content writers. To me, all the content creators need to be content editors now. Because you really don't need someone to write for 8 days and come out with some output. You can get in 2 minutes output and then edit it and use it. So there will be change. There definitely generative AI is the most powerful innovation of humankind, or at least in our generation. But Shireen, I think the generative AI is going to, if you study all the reports, in fact, McKinsey came up with the report just 2 days ago, there is going to be only 25 to 30% impact onto the economy or financial addition into the market. The discriminative AI, which we worked all these years into it, which is typically what we talked about, the predictive analytics, the relationship, the analytics, etc. that still is a big contributor into the economy or into the businesses. So generative AI to me is a very good innovation. It's going to help us to do many things better, cheaper and faster, but I don't believe that it's going to go to the extinction level.